Lesson number 24, Major Sharp 11 Lydian exercise. You can visit the link in the description below to download a free PDF copy of this lesson or purchase this lesson in all 12 keys on Scribd.com. In this week's lesson, we'll be looking at the Lydian scale and how to better apply it over major sharp 11 chords. So the first thing we need to do is to be able to identify and know how to play a Lydian scale based off of any root in any key. So the beginner's way to do this, and the way that I learned it at first, was to simply take a major scale, so in the key of C, all white notes, right? And all we're going to do is raise the fourth of that scale. And the reason we do this is because the fourth note in the major scale, in this case F, just simply doesn't sound very good over a basic major voicing. We call it an avoid note. And the reason behind that is, for the most part, that the third of the major chord, in this case E and F, make up a minor ninth, which is pretty much the worst interval that you could possibly play. Unless you're going for something really out and dark sounding. But you'll notice if we raise that note to an F sharp or a raised fourth in the key, it becomes much more consonant. That way, every note in our scale is a consonant choice for us to play over the chord in our left hand. Now, the theory behind this is that the Lydian scale is also the fourth mode of the major scale. So in college, when I was trying to figure these out, when I had to do them based on theory and not on just knowing to raise the fourth, what I would do is know the root of the scale. So if I was trying to find C Lydian, I know C is the root, and I would think, what major scale is C the fourth in? In this case, it would be G major. So I knew if I wanted to play the fourth mode of G major, or C Lydian, all I would have to do is play a G major scale starting on the note C. Both ways of constructing these scales are perfectly fine. I don't think anyone's ever going to come up to you and make sure you know the theoretical background of how to construct a Lydian scale, but I just thought you should know. Okay, so the first part of this exercise, what we're going to be doing is constructing 13th arpeggios based off the Lydian scale. This is going to sort of give us a better idea of the harmonic foundation, or I guess rather the harmonic context of the scales that we're playing. So all we have to do to construct a 13 arpeggio is to start on the root of the scale we're using, in this case C, and then we're going to go up in thirds until we repeat a note that we played previously. So we start on C, up a third, then we're back on the C where we started, and we can do the same thing descending. And then let's look at how each one of these notes relates to the chord we're playing in our left hand. Root, major third, fifth, seventh, ninth, sharp 11, 13. So by playing this scale and identifying these notes with the arpeggio, we also identify these really nice upper structure parts of the chord that we might not normally hear or improvise with. Sharp 11, 13th. Okay? So what we're going to do to work on this part of the exercise is play and sing, and then try to sing it away from our instrument without playing our left hand or our right hand. And we'll get to that part of the exercise in a second. So once we've identified this part of the exercise, which I'll call the vertical part, or the arpeggios of the exercise, we're going to move on to the horizontal part, or the scalular part of playing this exercise. So what I've done is taken a basic motif from a J.S. Bach composition, Invention No. 1 in C major, and I've applied it to this scale. And the basic idea I stole in its original context is this. applied it in different ways, ascending, descending, moving in thirds, fourths, half steps, whole steps. And the way that I found that outlined the chords that I was working on the best is to start on the root of the scale, but up 2 octaves, and then play it descending through the scale. So here's what it would sound like. Okay, so let's slow it down for a second and see how it outlines all the notes of that major 13 arpeggio that we were working on before at the beginning of this exercise. So if we start on this root 2 octaves up from where middle C is, root, and then we're going to start the next part on the 13th, the A. Notice how this G leads perfectly to the sharp 11. To the 9th, now to the 7th,